Seeing as it's 7:03, then we can get things started. Okay, residents of the town of Newbury and other interested persons, please note that on Thursday, December 2nd, 2021, at 7 p.m. in the second floor hearing room at 12 Kent Way, Byfield, the Newbury Tree Warden will hold a public hearing in accordance with the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 87, Section 3, on the trimming or removal of the following shade trees, all of which have been posted and adhered thereon. 84 Boston Road, trees marked with red flagging tape, all for removal. 1 6-inch oak, 4 8-inch oaks, 2 10-inch oaks, 1 4-inch hickory, 1 6-inch hickory, 1 6-inch elm, 2 6-inch beeches. Larkin Road on top of the stone outcropping, that's at the very beginning of the street. 24-inch pine marked with an orange X for removal. Newman Road at the lower green, 1 17-inch maple, 1 20-inch maple removal. Green Street at the upper green, 1 48-inch ash removal. Corner of Green Street and Bittersweet Lane, 1 48-inch locust, 1 36-inch cherry tree removal. For more information, please contact the tree warden at 978-462-0862, extension 301. All persons interested or wishing to be heard relative to this notice should appear at the time and place designated above. So what we ask is that if you have questions on a particular tree or trees, that you can come up to the microphone right here. If you're representing a company, just your name, company you're representing. If you're representing yourself as a citizen of the town of Newbury, or we've had people come from Newburyport, then just come up, state your name and your address. So, do we have any questions? Nope. Okay. Everybody's good? Okay. I have one thing I need to read into the record. It was an email that I received from somebody who wasn't going to be able to make it tonight. And that's from Robin and Glenna Etheridge at 6 Newman Road. Tim, we're not able to make the hearing tomorrow, meaning tonight, but we would like to make the following comment. The third notification on the agenda refers to the removal of 2 trees on the lower green. We agree that the trees covered by the posting are in dire state and should be taken down. However, there is no mention made of their replacement. We strongly request that the trees are replaced, as the lower green is a historic space and regularly used by the public. Tree plantings also have many environmental benefits. The reason it wasn't mentioned is because the hearings are set up for either pruning or removal. And back, geez, I think it was probably a little more or less one side or the other, that there was a committee set up on studying the upper and the lower green for multiple things, one of them being the removal of the trees and pruning of the trees. And if a tree had to be removed, then it would be replaced with what would be a native tree. And the reason talking about replacing a particular tree with another tree, the trees that are there now are very close to the road, and the salt damage is what usually does the trees in that close to the road. So we would have to come together and decide, and generally it's with some input from the Board of Selectmen, about replacing the trees that are taken down with 2 other trees, but they would have to be pushed back in closer, and it would be the where do we put the trees. Peter Hollis used to be the tree warden for the town of Newbury. I took over from Pete, and he'd been, I don't know how many years. I mean, I started in the business, lawn and garden business, in '74, and I think Pete was the tree warden back then. And so I took over, what would be, 5 years ago now. But his family wanted to plant a tree in his memory, and I thought, well, they lived on Cottage Road, what a better place to plant it than on the lower green. So we had to come to a decision of how far in, where it would be, so it wouldn't interfere with things going on. So that's the reason no decision was made. As far as which trees to use, a lot of that depends on what the soil's like in the spots that we picked to put the trees. So that's the reason that wasn't in the public notice. So pretty much all the trees that I've looked at are trees that have problems in one way, shape, form, or another. The one on the upper green, it's an ash tree, and back public hearing in July of 2020, we had a public hearing for trimming all the trees on both the upper and the lower green. And that particular one has got, that ash tree on the upper green has got rot all the way down through the center of the tree. You can't see it from where you're standing and looking at it. And it's a beautiful tree, you know, it's an older tree, it's got a massive trunk on it, but it just has lived its life and has to come down now. So, and the two on the lower green that butt up against Newman Road, they're just literally falling apart. You could go up to them and pull bark off all the way around. So those are the trees that generally people would be, call it, concerned about. So if no one has any questions and no one else is here, then at, let's call it 7:10, we'll close the public hearing, and thank you folks for attending, and we'll get started on doing these. One of the benefits we have now is that the town of Newbury does own its own bucket truck, which tremendously decreases the cost of taking down trees when they can reach them. Some of them, one oak tree on the end of Larkin Road, couldn't reach it with a bucket truck, so we had to go out to bid on that one. And that, you know, gets to be more expensive, but then it's also generally faster getting it down, because when you have to go out to bid, you have to get the three bids, you have to get the people there, then they submit the bids. Of course, you have to go under the low bid, and then all the paperwork that goes along with them getting everything in place. So it takes sometimes more weeks than it does if we just did had guys in the highway department go out and take down the tree. So,
so my property, 84 Boston Road, are we cleared to proceed now?
Wait just a couple days in case something hits the fan, but I will give you a holler and
Okay.
let you know for sure. Generally speaking, if anybody has a qualm with trees being taken down, the Mass General Law says that it should be submitted in writing before the meeting or at the meeting.
Yeah, that's what I thought, yeah.
So I just want to err on the side of caution on that. I mean, if you look at how much we filled the room tonight, then there doesn't seem to be a lot of concern for that, but, you know.
Again, 90% of them are just so we can have a driveway.
Yeah, and that's
There's
the
really
thing.
no other way to...
Yeah. Yeah, you'd have to have a lot of narrow trucks. Yeah. So, yeah, just, you can either text me on Monday
Yeah,
or...
I'm not starting tomorrow. We've been waiting for this.
Oh, yeah, I know. It's been, the whole process has taken, I don't know when it first came before the planning board. But
We got started, it's been about a year.
I was going to say, I
No,
thought...
it went in last October. It's October 2020.
Because I remember you contacting me at that point in time, and
Yeah.
I said, well, let's wait and see what, you know, goes on with the planning board to coordinate the whole thing so that, you know, I could approve taking them down, and the planning board says, no, you can't take those down.
Well, what seems insane is I have approved planning board and conscom. If we were told we can't take one of these trees down now, it would be like starting over again.
Yeah.
Like, the process seems really painful.
Well, generally speaking, it can take time for a lot of these things. Like it's, you know, the whole thing with looking at the trees on the upper and the lower green to prune them up, which they haven't been pruned up in years, and then making a determination, okay, are there any that have to come down? And if they don't have to come down, okay, we leave them, but then we'll just look at pruning them every couple of years to try and keep them healthy, and just go from there. So,
Well, we'll hold off till Monday on those trees, but
Yeah,
hopefully, yeah, we're good.
yeah, if I don't hear anything,
We'll just proceed.
then, yeah, I would assume that, you know, nobody's questioning it. Like I said, the lettering of the law, Mass General Law, which there isn't a particular set of superseding laws in Newbury for what you do as far as tree work. So, like I said, I looked it up this morning just to be sure, and it did say that, okay, if somebody wants to object, it has to be in writing either before or at the meeting.
Mhm.
Considering there's nobody here objecting to it, I would assume it would be okay, but
Okay.
2 more days allows you to sharpen the chainsaws.
Well, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate your time.
And
Thanks very much.
I don't know if I said it before, but we'll adjourn the meeting
Oh, yeah.
at 7:15
Thank you.
on Thursday
Thank
night. Take care.
Take care.